All right, guys, it's Wumbo here with Mr. Warren, who got top 4 at a case tournament this past weekend with INFERNOBLE. Before we get started with the list, Warren, do you want to give any shout-outs?
Yeah, shout out to the group chat back home. All the guys from the Springs, Jack, Trey, Tahim, Hashim, Vaughn, all you guys. The best testing partners there could be.
Sick. All right, let's get on deck list.
All right, so my deck's a little weird with some of the ratios, but it's been testing just fine. To start, it is 40. And it is a perfect 20/20 monster spell split. So to start, 3 connector, pretty self-explanatory. That's not, I don't even explain that. Yeah. Your next best normal summon after connector is going to be Ogier. A lot of times you actually would rather see Ogier than connector, because connector you just like, if you don't have a whole lot of extenders, some of his connector is just dead. Because it's going to eat a hand trap. Either it eats a hand trap or you just win. But
sure.
Typically it's going to eat a hand trap. And I swear they always have imperm. They never have Ash or anything that they're holding draw or whatever.
Nothing that trigger talent.
It's always imperm. Yep. I swear. But Ogier's your next best one because it sets up your grave. It'll dump a Fred, dump an extender. It's just the best one. It is also the best one to see with connector. Because connector by itself is a dump 4 combo off Isolde, but if on your connector, if it fully goes through and you see an Ogier, you dump Ogier off of a Dolphin, and then it turns your combo off Isolde into a dump 1, which is much better because you still have search targets like Museum and such. Next, I play 2 Fireflint Lady. So this is kind of weird. I see a lot of people playing just one of this, and like either 1 red layer or no red layer. But the logic behind this is Fireflint Lady is the best extender that matches with connector. It also matches with Ogier. But Renaud, as good as Renaud is, Renaud doesn't blend with connector. So people out there who are maxing on connector and then maxing on Renaud, you end up opening connector and you open the Renaud, and then the Renaud can't combo with the connector, so then you have a brick. So like, sure the card is strong, but like if it doesn't combo with your starters, then it doesn't do anything. So double Fireflint Lady. This is the best card in the deck, hands down, without a question, the best card in the deck. Because the board this deck puts up is actually not that strong. So it's like very, very easy to break, but what this card does, it makes your board, you can make it every single turn. So sure. All the stuff you're banishing off a sword, you synchro with a Turpin, that gets banished. You banish something for Gearfried, all that kind of stuff, you get to just shuffle it back and then you get to recur a card. So you can set yourself up with some hands where you shuffle back 3, draw a card on your turn, you do it on their turn, and you do it back again on your turn. By the time you've done that 3 times, you've outpaced them in card advantage. Sure. If it took them their entire hand to break your board and set up something, you ended your turn with probably 2, 3, maybe 4 cards in hand. You drew a card on their turn, now you're going to draw a card on your turn. Now you start your turn with 6 cards in hand and all your resources back in rotation. Right. The only thing it can't shuffle back is Isolde and the Xyz Artorias. Once those are gone, they're gone. But everything else, Fire Warrior, it shuffles back. And then in weird situations, it does protect your monster it's equipped to by battle. So you can set up like Magus, Ogier, and have it protected by destruction, card destruction, and by battle. So it's like you can sometimes wall up, sometimes like a pseudo towers almost. But yeah, easily the best card in the deck. I only play 1 Ricadetto. You kind of just don't want to see it in your opening hand. You just need it to exist on the list to summon off of Isolde. Only 1 Gearfried. I would consider bumping this to 2, but the 1 has been fine. I see it a fair enough amount of time, and it's easily accessible between Ogier and then the Angelica. It's super accessible, so like the 1 is fine. This is gonna get some flack. Only 1 Renaud. Yes, I know it's one of the best extenders in the deck. I get that, but kind of back. The other part about Magus is because it's constantly shuffling your stuff back, it makes your your deck building be a lot more flexible because this exists on the list. You can play a lot of your extenders that you would normally play at multiples. You can just play it at 1 because everything in your deck is so searchable. So you play it at 1 because we want to try to keep it down to 40. And then a lot of the, like, you see like DB Grinder, you see like online matches and such of like INFERNOBLE, you see like online deck profiles, they're only playing like 3, 6, sometimes 8 go second cards or kind of like defensive cards, and that's just not enough to like stop anything really.
Right.
So you want to have a good amount of go second cards to stop the purely, stop the cash, be able to break their boards if they go first. You want to be able to break the Mana Dome deck. Their board, like you only having 3 Ash and like 2 Book of Moon or something like that is just not enough. So the Magus makes a lot of your extenders. You don't have to play so many of them. So only 1 Renaud, only 1 Oliver, same reason, and then only 1 Turpin. And then that's it for the engine, like the monster version, monster part. 3 museum for the spells. I see some people cutting this to 2. I don't get that part.
No, I think the card's way too broken to play.
Card is disgusting. Only 2 Durendal. A lot of people are playing this at 3 as well with Renaud. Again, we're cutting room for go second cards. 2 is enough. And this is a brick if you open no monsters. So if you open no monsters, this is a brick. So seeing multiple of it, like you just kind of don't want to. And then the 1 Joyous, and then only 1 Almace. This was at 2. I was playing on 2, 1, 2. And just the second one just kind of seemed like it was bricking. So I cut it down to 1, and then I flipped the second Almace for the Metal Silver Armor. Metal Silver Armor is nice. It is, it's not the best there ever was, but it's a nice little kind of soft lock that you can set up with Oliver. Because this says they have to target, they can't target anything else but the thing this is equipped to, and then you also equip this to something, and it says that it can't be targeted. So in effect, it makes them so they can't like summon the Bestial, they can't like what else, like imperm some of your stuff, like they can't Book a Moon some of your stuff. Like it's just like kind of strong. So it's like if they end up Dark Lord and Warring you, and you have both of these up, like. Then you still have like big bodies that are all like 4,000 attack, and then now some of their stuff doesn't work. Like sometimes that's enough, combined with like some of the defensive cards you'll see here in a second. This can just be enough, you know what I mean? So it's not necessarily like gonna brick somebody's deck, but if it just stops them from going over the top of me, that's all I really want. Because if you just don't kill me on your first turn after I go first, like I'm gonna outpace you in card advantage because of the Magus. So all I need is for you to not go over the top of me.
Yeah.
Living Fossil.
I love this card personally. I don't know why more lists don't play it.
I see a lot of people playing DDR, which DDR is very strong because of the Phoenix Blade. But if you don't have a play, Living Fossil can get you into a play sometimes, whereas DDR sometimes just can't. So DDR is again another brick. So we're just trying to limit the amount of bricks that we have in the deck, right? And then we round it out by 1 Rhoda, only 1 Heritage, and 1 Columbine. So these 2 I gotta explain. I only own 1 of this, so that's kind of a thing I'm gonna fix. But in a perfect world, I would probably only actually play 2 of this. While yes, it is the best searcher in your deck. It's better than Durendal. It's better than I don't know if it's better than. It can be better than Rhoda. Rhoda is good because it can search connected, but this can search from graves. So like this plus Ogier is kind of the same as like Ogier and Renaud.
Sure.
So, but the thing is I don't like getting drolled. This deck can play through droll as long as you assume it's there.
Right.
If you assume it's there and you actually play around it, then it can't. You don't get hurt by droll that much. But this is just kind of like the more search cards you have, the more places where you can get drolled. So
yeah,
you just try to avoid that. And then I was playing Talents, and Talents was kind of pissing me off because there's so much stuff happening in the draw phase. There's like imperms. There's just like so much stuff happening that's like playing around Talents. And then like if the first monster effect they hit you with is Droll, like on my first turn already, I only have 2 effects accessible to me because they don't have a monster, so I'm going first.
Right.
They Droll you, so now all you have is to look at their hand. So it's just like
even like Shifter too. It's like the best hand trap of the format.
Yeah, phase, and then you have all Talents, and you're just like, man, I wish this was better.
Yeah, exactly.
So like I cut the Talents completely.
Yep.
I'm playing Call By, so this has been pretty good. I actually do kind of like this. So I probably wouldn't change much in the main. The only thing I might change is putting a second one of this in.
Sure.
And then some of the go second cards you'll see, some of them I would change. So this is go second cards, 6 books. A massive fan of 6 books, especially in this deck because your end board is like double Emperor Charles and then like a Gearfried and like a Isolde. So like if you set up 4 equips and then you set a back row, right, and then you eclipse them, like your Charles the Greats are still there. Even if you have to burn your own friend, like that's not the end of the world. Right. It bricks their deck, and then now you have a pop plus a spell trap negate to crack their follow up. Like it's pretty strong. So big fan of this. And then like going second, some boards like Pearly. This folded my Pearly match. I won every Pearly matchup I played pretty handily because 6 books just cracks their entire board. You draw phase and just like try to book them. They try to trap and you book them again if you open 2. If you only open 1, you let them get their draws, but then when they go to the trap, you just book them on the trap and then they have no noir. They have 2 unknowns to beat your engine, which chances are it's not going to happen. So 6 books I would advocate for these. I wouldn't change nothing about this. The one thing I would change was I was maining Nib. This was kind of so-so. The thought process behind it is no one respects Nib. So if no one's respecting Nib, the best place to have it is game 1 because game 2, some people do have. They're just gonna play around it because they're like, well, no one's playing Nib, but they might have it in the side, so why not just play around it? But in the main deck, game 1 Nib goes crazy. Yeah. So like that was pretty good, but it was kind of 50-50 at the tournament. It was not the worst, but it wasn't the best. These might just become like imperms or something, or I like Darker Window more, I like Evenly, I like all those cards, but it's just kind of dependent on the meta, what you think you're going to see.
Sure.
But these I think are must.
Oh yeah.
These 9 cards, I think if you're playing INFERNOBLE, you have to play these. Again, you just don't want no deck going over the top of you. It's going to brick like the Mana Dome deck. It's going to brick bad INFERNOBLE players that are just like not playing around it.
Yeah.
I just think these 9 cards are the strongest 9 cards versus like anything going second.
Sure.
And then this could just be 3 of anything, Imperm, Evenly, Dark Ruler, whatever. But again, the crutch of this deck is you see a lot of people just like not playing go second cards. So we're trying to stay as close to 40 as possible while still playing like a good amount of go second cards. I think 12 go second cards is like the perfect amount. I want to say the math is like pretty high to see at least 1 in every hand, and the math is like respectable to see any 2 of these in every hand. So you want to have a good amount. So like I said, it's 40. The last time I counted it, it was a even 20-20 split, 20 monsters, 20 spells. For the extra deck, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, pretty standard. Yeah, I think
2 Isolde. It's 2 Isolde, 2 Charles, 2 Emperor Charles, and then 1 of this. I see a lot of people playing 2. The combo that goes through 2 in 1 turn, I don't know that I really like that. That's kind of a lot.
I just don't think it's necessary personally.
Yeah, especially with the amount of equips I'm playing. I could see this being like viable if you're on the lower count of equips.
Sure.
But I'm on 7 total equips, 5 different names. So you can open like 2 equips and still have dump 4, depending on what the equips you open. If it's like Durendal plus anything else, you still have enough to dump 4. And then just the 1 Roland.
Yeah.
Then I also play the 1 Artorgus. You have to play this. It's part of the dump 4 combo. But it's also pretty strong in second, like especially in its background decks. Just like popping 3 and then just like keep going with your combo. And it doesn't target the 3 either. So like if they have set 5, you go activate effect and you start flipping stuff. Like, all right, I'll pop the other ones in. So that's cool. And then this is generic Link 2. He's also a Fire Warrior, so you can recur him with Magus. Also the nice thing about him is you can, like, if you couldn't get to a Gearfried or you didn't have a way to add it back, you can just make this, crash it into something, and then you have your Gearfried back. You can summon it back, and then eat a monster. It has an equip, now it has a negate, and it's just real good. This card's just like generically real good. Baron, you make it sometimes. And then the rest of this, I got D-Bared one time, and I said never again. So I do play a Baguska. This deck does take a kind of a long time to play, even if you know what you're doing. Like you can take upwards of 10 minutes just do the full combo like fast. Cowboy. And then in weird situations, Museum pays 12. If you needed the Museum to play, if you get to Dolphin burns you for 5, this burns you for 8. That's 13. Cool. So you can still pay 12 and then still burn them for time.
Right.
Excuse me. And then Appaloosa, again, just if you get D-Barrier. And then to round it out, it's a Zeus. If you make a Baguska, you can swing with it and then make a Zeus. I never made this in testing or in real life, so I don't know if I would still play this. This I did make once. This could just be something else. I don't know what I would turn this into though. So that's the extra. And then last, so the side is 3 Ash. So the logic here is 3 Ash, 3 Dark Ruler, 3 Evenly. It's the Ash is in the main. I only want a high impact. Books are pretty high impact, even Book of Moon on its own, and then Droll and Nib are high impact. But against the decks that these high impact Ghost Head cards aren't that good against, Ash gives me coverage for that. And then Dark Moon more gives me coverage, and then Evenly Match gives me coverage. So it's all about the side patterns. It makes your siding super quick. You can go into your side, you already know what you're going to side in and out, put it in, pull it out, and then you're done. And then your opponent's still sitting there, thinking. And then you also have, if you're going first, D-Barrier, it's kind of an FTK versus a lot of decks. And those talents I was telling you about.
Yep.
Honestly, going first, I didn't side these in. I sided it in the D-Barriers, but I didn't side these in. I sided these in more for going second because playing into someone's board, they're bound to activate something. Whether you can force a Rise Hard or the Manadome board or anything, it's just this seems much better going second than it does going first. So that's that. And then I respect the back row decks, so you got the Harpies and then the Evilies and then Ash. So that's for the back row decks.
Okay.
The only thing I might change out the side, maybe some bells. That's
sure.
about it.
Yeah, bells.
Not
This
much.
is
Like, this
kind of
covers-
respect Labyrinth. It seems
covers
pretty.
most everything.
Yeah, it's pretty generic. So
And you don't really need any the specifics like the Shein combo, the Ika combo. You don't need none of the specifics. The deck is already super strong as is. If you get to play the game, your turn one board is gonna beat most decks. So it's not like I was missing anything or lacking anything. The only thing I might have wanted was some imperms. I did kind of want some imperms at some points. And then Bell's just putting respect on the Labyrinth deck. I didn't see any of the Labyrinth deck at that tournament. Our locals, I don't know that there's any Labyrinths that float around our local area. But I do think you're going to start seeing more Labyrinth. I think it's really strong.
Yep.
Especially that new card they're getting in the new set. That
got the level 6.
Really, really strong.
Yeah, that card's crazy.
You're going to have to put some respect on Labyrinth. But as is, this feels just fine. I might put some imperms in, but that's about it. So,
Okay, perfect. All right, well, thanks, Warren, and until next time, we'll see you guys around. Peace.
Yeah.